When it comes to the sweetest first love story in anime, the main characters are definitely Tamako and Mochizou. They were born in the same hospital, and their parents dressed them in matching outfits from a young age. They went to the same school, were in the same class, and lived on the same street. Both of their families sold rice cakes, so they always got along well. Sadly, when Tamako was little, her mom passed away. To comfort her, Mochizou, who lived right across from her, tossed a cup phone to her window every night. This way, she could share her thoughts and feelings with him through the cup phone. She would tell him about her worries, her fears, and her dreams. And Mochizou would listen patiently, offering kind words and encouragement. Days like these continue until high school, and being together all the time makes Mochizou fall for the adorable Tamako. He wants to confess his feelings, because if he doesn't do it soon, he might lose his chance. After high school, Mochizou plans to go to Tokyo to study photography, his favorite subject, while Tamako will inherit the family's rice cake shop, meaning they'll be separated. Almost everyone around them can feel Mochizou's feelings for Tamako. He carefully saves many photos and videos of Tamako's daily life, like her in gym class or laughing without noticing. Whenever he's bored, he watches videos of her. Mochizou thinks Tamako is as dazzling as light, but if he doesn't confess, she might never know how he feels. So, his mom encourages him to be more proactive.
それよりタマコちゃんには言った？
はあ、なんで別に。
ちゃんと言った方がいいよ。
He wonders when to confess and takes out the cup phone from his drawer, but just as he approaches the window to talk to Tamako, he gets shy and hesitates all day until night. Finally, he can't wait any longer, sees Tamako in her room, and throws the cup phone to her. Tamako, who usually can catch the cup phone only once in 100 tries, surprisingly catches it tonight. Mochizou thinks this is the perfect opportunity to confess his feelings.
もっち、私あんこ。お姉ちゃんじゃないから。
However, Mochizou accidentally mistakes Tamako's sister's shadow for Tamako and almost causes a funny mix-up. He decides to confess face-to-face at school the next day. That night, he runs into Tamako and learns that she joined a badminton club. They have a competition soon and Tamako has early morning practice every day. Tamako isn't great at balancing. Worried that his sudden confession might affect her practice, his second confession attempt fails before it even starts. Just when Mochizou is out of ideas, Tamako's friend Tokiwa steps in. She catches Mochizou staring at Tamako and confronts him about his secret crush.
ちゃん見てるね、タマコのこと。
はあ、そんなに見てねえし。
When Tamako comes out of the restroom, Tokiwa thinks it's the perfect time for Mochizou to confess his feelings. So she tells Tamako that Mochizou has something to say to her. Tamako suggests they talk after club practice when they walk home together. As evening falls, they reach the riverside where they used to play as kids, and the sunset reflects beautifully on the water. Mochizou finally reveals his long-hidden feelings.
俺、タマコが好きだ。
Tamako, startled by his confession, accidentally falls into the river. Soaked and still in shock, she doesn't know what to say to Mochizou. She hurries away, forgetting her backpack and rushing home. Once there, she quickly closes the curtains, fearing the awkwardness of seeing Mochizou again. But she can't stop thinking about him, even accidentally burning their dinner of rice cakes. A big deal for someone so focused on rice cakes. At the dinner table, Tamako mistakenly calls a rice cake Mochizou, and her dad grows concerned about her odd behavior. When her sister says Mochizou brought her backpack home, Tamako's face turns bright red. That night, she goes to bed early. Mochizou, on the other hand, only dares to turn on his light after Tamako's room goes dark. He's equally shaken by his impulsive confession and fears he scared Tamako so much they can't even be friends anymore. After that day, Tamako seems out of sorts, making mistakes while making rice cakes and during club practice. She deliberately avoids Mochizou in class, which makes him sad. Their relationship becomes strained. They obviously care about each other but won't initiate conversation. Tokiwa notices something's off and asks Tamako what happened, but she refuses to say. After school, Tamako runs into Mochizou and instinctively wants to avoid him. But to keep their relationship from becoming more awkward, she talks to him, although she seems uncomfortable. Mochizou realizes his confession caused Tamako distress and decides not to bother her anymore. Her strange behavior worries her father, who tells her to take a break from helping at the shop for a few days. After all, since her mother passed away, Tamako has shouldered the responsibility of being the eldest daughter and keeping the family together. Tamako walks down the bustling commercial street early in the morning, greeted warmly by familiar neighbors. Everything seems wonderful and normal, and these moments give her the strength to be brave. She fears that her relationship with Mochizou might never be the same. Tamako doesn't like this situation, and coupled with her lack of progress in training, she's afraid she'll hold the team back. She shares her feelings with Tokiwa. Tamako says she and Mochizou grew up together, inseparable, and she thought their relationship would never change. But as they grew up, Mochizou had bigger plans for his future, while she wanted to stay home and inherit her father's rice cake shop. Mochizou's confession left her confused and unsure of how to respond, so she chose to avoid him. But this doesn't solve the problem, it only makes their relationship more distant. Her worries affect her training, and she makes more mistakes than ever. Tokiwa suggests she take a break, and Tamako sits on a bench, lost in thought. At this moment, Tamako's friend Shiori approaches and tells her she's going to study abroad after graduation. Tamako admires Shiori for having a clear plan for her future. Shiori says it's better to try new things than to be constantly stuck in indecision. Only by taking the first step can you discover what you truly want. Tamako realizes everyone around her is seriously considering their future. What about her? Could she have a future with Mochizou? Before she can figure it out, her grandfather chokes on a rice cake. A neighbor helps call an ambulance. The emergency scares Tamako. Mochizou voluntarily accompanies Tamako to the hospital. Fortunately, her grandfather's treatment is prompt, and he quickly recovers. Tamako is really grateful for Mochizou's help, and the two of them have a rare chance to be alone together. Mochizou has noticed Tamako's avoidance lately, and to avoid causing her more distress, he asks her to forget his confession. They decide to act as if nothing happened and continue being good friends. Although the situation seems to be resolved, this outcome leaves Tamako feeling even sadder. When her friends notice her being distracted during practice, they ask her what's going on. Tamako tells everyone about Mochizou's confession, and as outsiders, her friends quickly see the truth. The reason Tamako is so troubled is that she likes Mochizou too. Her confusion when he confessed is actually her heart being moved, and her reluctance to stay just friends is a sign of her feelings for him. This roller coaster of emotions, if not love, what could it be? Her friends encourage her to face her true feelings, and since they like each other, they shouldn't let this opportunity pass by. Instead of avoiding the situation, they suggest that Tamako should tell Mochizou how she really feels. Upon learning the truth, Tamako's friends decide to help her in her pursuit of love. They encourage her to bump into Mochizou in the hallway on purpose. But when Tamako rushes out, Mochizou suddenly turns around and goes back to the classroom. Her friends try to help by sending a love letter through a text message, but Tamako quickly takes the phone away. At night, Mochizou leaves the store, but Tamako awkwardly turns around and runs away. She experiences all the shyness and suffering Mochizou felt during his confession. That night, in her room, Tamako listens to a cassette tape containing a song her father wrote for her mother, the beginning of their love story. Her mother says on the tape that when you meet someone you like, you have to be brave, so happiness won't slip away. Tamako suddenly realizes the power of these simple words and gains the courage to adjust her mindset. The next day, she goes back to help at the rice cake shop and tells Tokiwa that she will bravely respond to Mochizou. But before that, she wants to focus on her baton club training and complete the competition. With everyone's joint efforts, the baton team successfully wins the competition. On the other hand, Mochizou goes from hopeful to heartbroken, preparing to delete all videos of Tamako and forget the unrequited love. As Mochizou struggles, the school temporarily closes due to a flu outbreak. A friend calls Tamako to let her know and asks her to inform Mochizou about the news. However, Tamako doesn't tell him and goes to the school alone the next day. She thinks that if no one informs Mochizou, he will surely come to school, and she can tell him her feelings face to face. But after waiting for a long time, Mochizou doesn't show up, and instead, Tokiwa arrives. She tells Tamako that she ran into Mochizou earlier and found out that he is transferring to a school in Tokyo and won't be coming back. If Tamako hurries, she might still catch up with him. After hearing what Tokiwa said, Tamako rushes out of the classroom and heads straight for the train station. What she doesn't know is that Tokiwa lied. Mochizou isn't transferring schools, he's just going to Tokyo for an entrance exam. Tokiwa made up the story to push Tamako into learning how to seize her own happiness. At the train station, Tamako searches everywhere for Mochizou, but they keep missing each other. Tamako becomes desperate, afraid she'll never see him again. It's only now that she realizes how important Mochizou is to her. Just a second before the train leaves, she finally spots that familiar figure. Tamako stops Mochizou from leaving, but she's too shy to confess her feelings face to face. So, she decides to use the cup phone to express her love. Like the countless nights they've shared this connection, Mochizou throws her the cup phone. This time, Tamako catches the cup phone firmly, just like she's catching her own happiness, and bravely speaks her heart.
もちぞ大好きどうぞ
Mochizou doesn't give a direct answer because he's already shown Tamako the answer to this question time and time again. Their daily interactions, the looks they exchange, the excitement they feel when they see each other, Mochizou's blushing face when he confessed, and the longing when he repeatedly watched the videos. All these moments are the best proof of Mochizou's love for Tamako. Love is a game for the brave. Meeting and falling in love is not easy. If you like someone, confess your feelings, because missing out is the greatest regret. This heartwarming story beautifully captures the essence of young love and the courage it takes to confess one's feelings. The characters, Tamako and Mochizou, are endearing in their vulnerability and genuine emotions. Their journey teaches us the importance of not letting fear hold us back and seizing the moment when it comes to love. What do you think about the story? Subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.